My official prediction for Rose Namajunas versus Weili, I'm going with Rose. Now, for obvious reasons, guys, how did we get here? Quite simply, how are we at a rematch? Who sold this idea? Who sold this idea to Rose to put it back on the line? I mean, right, historically speaking, there was nothing about that first contest that possibly warrants a rematch. That was not competitive in the least. That was a one-sided pounding with Rose swinging the hammer. There was zero amounts of offense by Weili. There was zero question at the end of the night who won. How in the hell do we get to a rematch? How in the hell do we get to immediate rematch? Well, for all of the same reasons. When there is something that is so dominant, that it is almost the surprise factor, your jaw hits the floor. What did I just see? That level of domination, you instantly default as the viewer to luck. She caught her. She got lucky. 1 in a million. It's one of those things. What Rose did was such a highlight reel and was so surprising, particularly at the time. Don't forget, guys, DraftKings had Weili a 3-1 favorite when the bell went off. So Weili was supposed to go right through Rose. Rose was supposed to be the sacrificial lamb with a wonderful resume and a recognizable face to help build the Weili era. That's what that was supposed to be. So when Rose shut her lights off, particularly with one strike, particularly a kick to the mouth, with Weili, who appears, I would guess, I think Weili's the stronger fighter, the physically stronger fighter. She most certainly appears that way. Yet she couldn't close the distance. She couldn't close the gap. She couldn't get her defenses up. She could not do anything to Rose. I get that it was a quick fight. Is that why we're rematching it? It was also so quick. Weili didn't have time to do any of that. Like, how are we selling that? Not to mention DraftKings has it at a 2-1 right now. A 2-1 right now favoring Rose versus a 3-1 that used to favor Weili with the belt going to Rose in the one and only contest they did. Same girls in the same weight class, under the same rules, in the same octagon. It's wildly disrespectful to Rose, or it's wildly complimentary to Weili, however you want to look at this. But this isn't the first time Rose has been in this spot. When Rose became the champion of the world and defeated Joanna, that was by luck. She caught her. Can't happen again. Do a rematch. Bring Rose in there with her pretty belt, her recognizable face. Use her to get Joanna back on top of the bill. And it was a very different fight. It was a much harder, more long, drawn-out fight. But the result was the same. Thug Rose, champion of the world. So Rose has been in this spot, and there's a lot of people that are really Team Rose that think she got dealt off the bottom of the deck here. She did not. If Weili was the best, and Weili proved that she was the best, particularly in the absence of Joanna, not to mention Joanna has had that opportunity with Rose 2 other times, there was no other number one contenders. And we were built in on the human factor, and it's represented at DraftKings right now. They still see it. That this is very close money for a fight that had one strike less than 60 seconds in and crowned a new champion. I mean, in all fairness, that's not the kind of match that you would think in a rematch is going to warrant 2-1 action, but that's where it sits right now. And we can both be right. Rose can be the best fighter of the world, and she could have caught her that night. She could have been lucky. This could be an absolute war. This could be very long and drawn out, which I think it likely is going to be. At least the minutes are going to reflect that way. But you could have the same outcome, which is Rose. Both people can be right. Rose is the true champion. Rose caught her in the first fight. Both statements can be true. It's a very big risk, and I have to wonder where the motivation of Rose lies. Just following the golden rule in life of putting myself in her shoes, how would I want to be treated? I would think if I got away with one, where I was a 3-1 dog, and I got out of there in the first minute, unscathed and with the championship, I would think that I would like to see that opponent down the line. Let me go have a little bit of fun with my belt here. Let's watch her come through a couple of other contenders. Of course, I'll be in the back, keeping my fingers crossed that one of them stumps her. Get a little fresh parody. Not what Rose did. I didn't see Rose gaming this in the media. I don't remember her trying to play any politics here. She was given an opportunity by a young lady, and now she is returning the favor to that same young lady. I talked with Henry Cejudo privately, who was training Weili, and I said, by the way, Henry, what does that look like? I've seen Weili giving you credit. I've seen the social media and the Instagram, but you're not a coach, are you? He said, yeah, I am hers. So really, you sit down, you come up with a training schedule, and he said, yes, I know how to beat Thug Rose. And I'm helping her to implement a combination between the strikes and the grappling. Yes, I am her trainer. And that meant something to me. It was just a simple conversation with Henry. But if you're going to listen to anybody about an ass whipping contest, particularly heavy in the grappling department, Henry Cejudo's the guy to go to. So Weili's made some adjustments. She's packed up and she's left home. She's showing some real sacrifice. I know she wants to be in there. But that isn't what I was here to discuss with you guys. What I'm here to discuss with you guys is my prediction, Weili versus Rose, and still Thug Rose.